This is similar to what Peachtree Rock looked like before it fell over. Displaying the glory of God's creation by exploring America one park at a time. Welcome to Parking Full Time with Big Dave, the parks professor. Welcome back to Parking Full Time. I am Big Dave, the parks professor. We are at Peachtree Rock Heritage Preserve. That is traffic noise from South Carolina 6 that you can probably hear behind me. We are on the southwest side of Columbia, South Carolina. Today is Thursday, December the 7th. And the temperature right now is a slightly chilly, but very sunny and very pleasant 54 degrees. The trail we're going to hike today is the Blue Trail. They have several trails here at this preserve, but the one we're going to hike is the Blue Trail, so we're following the Blue Trail markers. So apparently we need to go to the right here. I've been trying to get here for about 15 years. And in some sense, we are a few years too late. And I'll explain what I mean by that when we get down to Peachtree Rock. It's about 10 minutes later, and we have made it down to Peachtree Rock, which is what you're looking at right there. Now, I said that we were in some sense a few years too late. A few years ago, the big boulder that you see in front of us here was actually standing on that little pedestal that you see directly below it and to the right of it right there. And that was the case until a few years ago. And then a few years ago, it fell over. As far as we know, due to natural means. If there were acts of vandalism, there's not really any evidence of that. So we're a little too late to see Peachtree Rock in all its glory. But it's still a nice area here. You see some other little pedestals up there on the hillside. There are a couple of other interesting things to see down here. One of them is a waterfall that is right over there. And so let me take a couple minutes and walk over to the waterfall and give you a better view of that. I've been walking literally 2 more minutes. And we're over by the small waterfall here. That waterfall is only about 15 to 20 feet high. But it is in a very nice area down here with all of these rocks and rock outcrops. So I like that little waterfall. We are going to continue around the loop, following the Blue Trail markers. Now, there is another rock on around here. It's called Little Peachtree Rock. And last I read, that one was still upright. So that's where we'll try to head next. We're still working our way around the Blue Trail towards Little Peachtree Rock. But I came upon this, and I thought it was interesting. That is the remnants of an old moonshine still. This is kind of down here in the hollow. Not easy to detect down here. So probably that comes from the days of Prohibition. All right, we will continue. We've been going uphill a little bit. We'll continue working our way around the Blue Trail towards Little Peachtree Rock. We've been going for about another 20 minutes or so. And we've been coming through an area that looks like has been controlled burned. It's an area of pine trees. But we have now made it to Little Peachtree Rock. This is similar to what Peachtree Rock looked like before it fell over. Except, of course, this one is littler. Also, some nice rock outcrops around here. Let me walk out here. Just point the camera up this direction. That's not quite the area we just came down, but close. So lots of rocks to look at here at Peachtree Rock Heritage Preserve. It's a few minutes later, and we have come up to a decision point now. So we have trails going both directions, a green trail going that direction, and then our blue trail going this direction. Both of those trails will actually take us back to the parking lot where we're trying to get to, but we're going to be purists. We're going to stick with the blue trail. One warning I'll give you if you're thinking about coming here and hiking, there are a lot of wild trails out here. Fire breaks and other areas that look like trails, but they're not trails. And so when you come here, you have to follow the trail markers. So that is a blue trail marker right there. There are plenty of trail markers. And if you look for the trail markers, you won't have any trouble staying on the right trail. I haven't had any points where I wasn't sure which way to go. But I've been very careful looking for the trail markers. And so be aware that if you come here, you have to watch the trail markers. There are a lot of unofficial trails, and you can end up going directions you don't want to go if you don't watch the trail markers. We just closed the loop portion of the blue trail, and therefore we have just made it back to Peachtree Rock for a second time. First time was on our way in, this time is on our way out. And therefore we only have about 10 minutes of gradually uphill hiking to go to finish this hike. One other thing I'll mention, you may be wondering what a heritage preserve is in South Carolina's reckoning. So a heritage preserve in South Carolina is essentially a state park, but without any amenities. So no picnic areas, no campground, beaches, visitor center. All they typically have is a parking lot and some trails. Sometimes they don't even have that. Sometimes they're just undeveloped pieces of land. And a nice place to come for short day hikes. A nice place to come if you want some solitude, which can be harder to find at some of the bigger, well-amenitied state parks around here. Other states call them other things. In Ohio, they're state nature preserves. In Tennessee, they're state natural areas. In South Carolina, they are heritage preserves. So with that little tidbit of wisdom, I do want to thank you for watching. Parking full time would not be anything without the people who watch. I realize that every day, and I thank you every day. Also, as a reminder, I do not take any monetary compensation for anything I do for this project. I took a vow to do that several years ago, and I have maintained that vow. And so all I get for doing this are your likes, your subscribes, your views, and your comments, and I do appreciate all of those things. Again, there's a wild trail that goes off to the right here. So you have to follow the trail markers when you hike here. This is a really nice hike. A lot of interesting things to see here. There are the rocks, the waterfall, the pine forests. Lots of interesting things here. So I'm going to close down this video. Until next time, I am Big Dave, the Parks Professor, for Parking Full Time. Have a great afternoon. Take care. And Lord bless.